right now on 5 on your side at 10.
Ramping up the rain chances when the best chance arrives and why it likely won't have a big impact on your weekend plans.
Cleaning up contamination.
It's right here, and it's been here for 60 years.
The new timeline for radioactive remediation and the road project that sped up the process. Our top story, a deadly shooting in North City. The violence happening in a home filled with children.
My heart goes out to them. We got to do something for the kids.
Tonight, police are looking for the gunman wanted for a double shooting that left one woman dead and another critically injured. Good evening, everyone. I'm Kelly Jackson. Mike Bush has the night off. The gunshots rang out about 6 hours ago on Farland Avenue near Fairground Park. 5 on your side's Robert Townsend talked with neighbors who are fearful and frustrated.
5 on your side was first on the scene of the double shooting near Farland and Redbud Avenues. Police say gunshots rang out inside this home just after 4 Wednesday afternoon.
Pop, 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 pop. You know how gunshots sound. We all do. We hear it all the time.
At the time, this man was visiting a friend who lives on Farland.
This stuff needs to stop.
On this end right here, it's pretty quiet. But we do hear a lot of gunshots.
Police went inside the residence and found one woman dead in an upstairs bedroom. Paramedics rushed another woman to a hospital with critical injuries. Again, both had been shot. You can see a broken second-floor window dangling from the home.
That's horrible. That's very mind-boggling.
An officer said 5 children were inside the home at the time of the crimes. They were not hurt.
My heart goes out to them because they probably witnessed what was going on. And I just feel bad for them.
The shootings happened just down the street from Fairground Park, where last Monday 5 people were shot during a large gathering. A 19-year-old man died.
It's very common in this area.
This woman has lived in this North St. Louis area for 2 years with her children.
It's really sad that this goes on in this neighborhood.
Police tell us after the deadly shooting, the shooter ran off. They searched for him with a K-9 unit, but did not find the man. We saw family members huddled at this latest crime scene, talking to detectives. That as once again, weary neighbors repeat desperate pleas for peace.
But they need to wake up, man.
Got me really scared right now. I don't know if I really want to continue living here.
Robert Townsend, 5 on your side.
Neighbors also say a woman and her young son live at the home where the shootings happened. Tonight, investigators have not released any more details. Right now, the Major K Squad is investigating a deadly shooting in North St. Louis County. Daryl Scott was found shot to death around 3 this morning in Beverly Hills. His body was found in the street on Greenway Avenue. Police are asking for the public's help finding out what happened. You can leave an anonymous tip with Crime Stoppers. That number, 866-371-TIPS. Tonight, Hazelwood police are searching for the gunman who shot another man outside a tobacco shop. It happened this morning at Hazelwood Discount Cigarettes on North Hanley. Police say the victim was shot in the chest and is expected to survive. Just hours ago, the Army Corps of Engineers gave an update on the cleanup of radioactive waste that has contaminated Coldwater Creek and sites near downtown for decades. 5 on your side's Laura Barcheski learned what's been done and the work still to do, Laura.
Kelly, there was one note leaders made to start this meeting with tonight. There have been no federal funding cuts for this cleanup program through the Army Corps, and recently they've even been able to speed up that process.
Over the last year, the Army Corps of Engineers says they've made progress on Coldwater Creek cleanup, including putting up signage warning the public about radioactive waste in the area.
So we have 84 installed right now. We're continuing to get rights of entry from property owners and installing those along the creek. We've also done continued sampling and analysis along the creek to develop our next plans of cleanup.
Colonel Andy Pannier says some crews were diverted away from the creek to clean up McDonald Boulevard near the airport, which they were able to do because of a St. Louis County road project.
And that allowed us to clean one of the areas that still had the highest level of contamination, and so we were able to remove a significant amount of material there.
At the downtown sites, they've been able to remove roughly 23 rail cars worth of material and are currently working on Norfolk Southern Railroad. Dawn Chapman of Just Moms STL says they'd like to see the cleanup expedited, just as they did with the Westlake landfill following the EPA director's visit.
We'd also like the levels that they're cleaning up to become more protective. They have the authority to legally make them 100 times more protective. That's 100 times lower cancer risk that this entire community would have if they would do that. So those are our two asks tonight.
I asked Colonel Paneer about expediting this work, and he says they've already been able to in some ways.
The more funding we've got, it's allowed us to build a lab on site, so we no longer have to send samples out. We can immediately process those. We've increased the number of federal employees and contractors, so what that has allowed us to do is we can do things simultaneous. So I can sample in one location while I'm cleaning in another.
Congressman Wesley Bell made an appearance at the meeting and says he's committed to doing what he can to provide funding and resources to the projects.
We're going to continue to keep the pressure on until this is fixed and until the victims are compensated, the still living victims. This is important. It's a priority, and that's why myself and my entire office are going to continue to work.
For the North County project, the Army Corps' next area of focus is Laddie Avenue. For the downtown area, they'll work on the Kiesel property.
Missouri Governor Mike Kehoe will be in the St. Louis area tomorrow. His visit comes one day before his deadline to name a transition director to oversee the switch back to state control of the St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department. He has until June 24th to name the 5 appointees who will join Mayor Kara Spencer and the 6-member board. A massive sinkhole that opened up in North St. Louis is opening eyes. 5 on Your Side's political editor Mark Maxwell was there as leaders from City Hall and Washington gathered at the large crater to address the city's crumbling infrastructure.
6 days after a startling sinkhole swallowed a sizable chunk of a St. Louis street,
One of those things you really can't predict.
surprised spectators continue to stop and speak out in shock.
I couldn't believe it myself, but it happened.
Tyra Dunn takes the bus to and from her daily stops.
It's been hectic for the drivers.
After one reckless driver barreled right through a barricade, new fences and bright signs now outline a wider perimeter telling commuters to take a detour.
Inconvenience.
Especially for Antoine Wade.
Yeah, I seen how big it was.
His detour redirects him through an alley in a wheelchair.
I know it's luckily didn't nobody fall through there.
The mayor's office and her new director of public safety distributed these flyers into the neighborhood, notifying people aging sewer infrastructure collapsed under heavy rain.
Our first priority was making sure that nobody was going to get injured.
The city notice came with an estimated timeline of 2 weeks for construction crews to complete repairs, along with warnings to keep your distance and do not try to fix it yourself.
When you see something, say something, because sometimes, it starts with a dip in the ground, and then it obviously can expand.
Old city maps suggest the sewers under this part of town could be 150 plus years old. While construction crews race to repair the short-term emergency, elected officials eye a long-term solution.
It's going to take more than just some patch and glue and move on.
Yet, year after year after year after year, a recurring problem simmers under the streets of St. Louis, to the point where you just never know where a gaping hole like this might open up next.
To identify where the most aged infrastructure, where the potentially related caves or other collapsible infrastructure nearby could be a problem.
And voters who live nearby hope this time serves as a wake-up call to elected officials.
To fix it so it won't happen again.
Reporting in St. Louis, Mark Maxwell, 5 on Your Side.
Congressman Bell says he signed onto the Sinkhole Mapping Act, urging Congress to instruct the U.S. Geological Survey to scan and survey areas for potential collapses that threaten the public's safety. Tonight, a shakeup is coming to Illinois politics. Senator Dick Durbin announced today he's not seeking re-election in 2026.
I truly love the job of being United States Senator, but in my heart, I know it's time to pass the torch.
The second-ranking Democrat has served nearly 30 years in the U.S. Senate. Before that, East St. Louis native served 14 years in the U.S. House. Right now, mourners continue to pass by Pope Francis's coffin for a public viewing. This is a live look inside St. Peter's Basilica, where it's just after 5 in the morning. NBC's Molly Hunter is at the Vatican, where preparations are underway for Saturday's papal funeral.
We had the opportunity earlier today to go inside St. Peter's Basilica with a small group of journalists. We didn't have to wait in that 5 to 6 hour long line, but we did get to go inside not only to pay our final respects, but to talk to people who were in line, who were waiting, to talk to people after they had said their final goodbye, and to witness the moment. It's interesting, this line, which is still going at this hour, people are pretty chatty in the line. There's a lot of community. People were looking forward to it, excited. A lot of people said they had no idea what to expect. But when that line got close to Pope Francis lying in state in that wood and zinc coffin at ground level, which was by design, it got very, very quiet. Now, we had the chance to speak to some people after they saw his body lying in state. Take a listen.
And I was like sending kisses to him, just saying goodbye, just to rest in peace.
Now, we were also given these prayer cards inside. It's a picture of Pope Francis, of course. It says Francesco, and a lot of people felt like it was a pretty special memento to walk out with. But that's what's happening in the public sphere. So he will be lying in state until Friday. His coffin is closed. Of course, the funeral is on Saturday. Privately, though, or at least behind closed doors, will be these general congregations. Cardinals are coming in from all over the world. We know from the Vatican press office, 103 cardinals arrived and had the general congregation this evening. There are 135 cardinals under the age of 80 eligible to vote in the conclave. But over the next 2 weeks, before the conclave starts, they will be having these formal general congregation meetings open to all cardinals, but they will also be having these informal meetings, these informal chats over wine, over pizza, taking a walk. And a lot of this in the next couple of weeks, because this is such a diverse, big group of cardinals, will be about getting to know each other. Molly Hunter, NBC News at the Vatican.
And the funeral for Pope Francis will take place early Saturday morning, St. Louis time, and we will air NBC News coverage beginning at 2:55 a.m. And our coverage of the death of Pope Francis also continues on KSDK.com. Text the word Pope to 314-425-5355 and we'll send a link to your phone. Lured away and attacked.
They both just started beating me.
Tonight, 2 teens face felony charges. Investigators say they may have more victims. A financial curveball for parents after signing up their kids for youth sports.
I was a little caught off guard, I won't lie.
Tonight, where you can find sports gear for a steal.
You're going to save 50%. Yeah, sometimes more.
They don't think you'll need the waterproof sports gear this weekend, but Friday and early next week, both could feature rumbles of thunder. We're tracking the timing of our next rain chance.
No, if I wouldn't have screamed or fought back, I know they would have killed me.
Tonight, a Metro East woman says she was lured by 2 Madison County teens who then brutally attacked her. This afternoon, the Madison County State's Attorney filed charges against Haley Ditzler and Olivia Brown for felony mob action. According to court documents, the 2 18-year-olds lured a Madison County woman to a remote location along Chain of Rocks Road and then dragged her to the woods and beat her. Evelyn Barron says the same thing happened to her at a home in Caseyville. Video of that attack is circulating online.
My whole head has bumps everywhere. My leg was scraped up, and my lip was like just a little bit busted, and I do have a bruise under my eye, and this eye was bloodshot red.
They lured her there and had a camera set up so that they could videotape them both assaulting her. These girls are dangerous.
Police are investigating Ditzler and Brown for that attack and others. It's unclear if the pair is in custody tonight. Barron's has filed an order of protection. A consumer alert tonight for Missouri gamblers. The state's gaming commission warns about fake ads popping up on social media about online gaming platforms. They appear to be from legitimate casinos. Online casinos are illegal in Missouri. Officials also warn taking part in unregulated gaming leaves you vulnerable to fraud and identity theft. Spring sports season is here. On top of the registration and league fees, parents also have to shell out money for sports gear. Tonight, Allison Gormley has a game plan for savings.
This spring, Zayden is excited to play baseball.
It's important to let them kind of use their energy wisely and have an outlet for it, a safe outlet.
Mom Katie Lovell said the sport also means buying a good amount of gear.
I was a little caught off guard, I won't lie.
On her list,
you need everything that you could imagine. You've got to have the specific colored socks, got to get your helmet, a glove, and then a bag, of course.
She estimates she spent around $175 on top of registration. Prices places like that are the reasons some sports families turn to secondhand items.
You're going to save 50%. Yeah, sometimes more.
Elaine Hale owns Play It Again Sports in Indy. She estimates about 1/3 of their inventory is consigned.
We sell probably about 5,000 pairs of used cleats between baseball, soccer, and then football. Make sure there's a lot of cleat left.
And they're always looking for more inventory if you're looking to get rid of gently used items around your house. For example, if you bring in an item worth $50,
they will get 30% of that back in cash to walk out the door with. If they want store credit, they'll get 40%.
Hale said one way they check bats for broken pieces inside.
And we'll tap like this and make sure we don't hear the jiggling and things like that.
They also do not accept helmets older than 5 years or if they have a crack. Another opportunity to save money on equipment could also be Facebook Marketplace. Recently, we found this lacrosse gear and lots of bats. Just be sure to check out the items in person before buying, giving good gear a second chance and possibly saving families some money.
And that was Allison Gormley. Play It Again Sports has locations in Kirkwood, Arnold, Edwardsville, and Fairview Heights, and they also have an online store. The historic Route 66 is turning 100, and the Show Me State is in the driver's seat for the centennial celebration. Governor Mike Kehoe made the announcement just hours ago.
Springfield, Missouri has officially been selected as the host city for the national kickoff of the Route 66 Centennial Celebration in 2026.
A kickoff concert featuring A-list acts will be held on April 30th, 2026. That's 100 years to the day a telegram was set for sons from the Colonial Hotel in Springfield to Washington, D.C., proposing the name Route 66. Satellite concerts will be held here in St. Louis and other cities along America's main streets. Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell's here with the weather impact forecast. Turned out to be a beautiful day, but I know there's some rain ahead, right?
There is some rain ahead, but we're not getting too worried about it at this point. It doesn't look like there's big impacts for us over the weekend. Most of the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, will be dry. Low rain chance for tomorrow afternoon. Only a very few of us might see a shower. And even on Friday, the chance for showers and thunderstorms is somewhat scattered. As we head into early next week, perhaps a better storm chance along about Tuesday. This will be the day that we start focusing on as we head through the next couple of days, get past Friday. We'll be assessing the strength of that system for Tuesday for sure. In the meantime, we've had some stronger thunderstorms tonight back into parts of Kansas, northwest Missouri, back into portions of Nebraska, stretching up into Iowa. All of that missing us. We've seen temperatures today topping out in the 70s, and this evening we've been sliding back into the 60s around the St. Louis area. That with some high clouds rolling in. We're still technically mostly cloudy, 67 degrees, 78 and 53 the numbers in the book for today. It's a mainly dry day tomorrow, but we can't rule out an isolated shower, especially south and southwest of St. Louis during the afternoon. But those hour-by-hour forecasts tomorrow, well, they're going to pop us back into and above the 70-degree mark by lunchtime. And then in the afternoon hours, right around 80. That's your moisture on the increase. Yes, south of St. Louis, maybe a spritz, sprinkle, light shower, nothing substantial. We go into your overnight hours, and the chances for showers will actually increase a little bit as the moisture deepens across the region for overnight into very early on Friday morning. Looks like there'll be a batch south and east, and then as that front approaches from the north and west, maybe a few showers and thunderstorms. Not everybody's going to see rain on Friday. Those of us that do may have a brief downpour, but again, it's scattered, especially during the late morning into the afternoon, early evening. And you can see the rainfall eludes St. Louis overall through Saturday morning, which is good here for the runners. Greater St. Louis Marathon. Go St. Louis, doing this for the 25th year in a row. It's in the 50s out the door on Saturday morning. Saturday should be dry, and we're expecting mainly dry weather with the focus for showers and storms on Sunday to our west. So your next 7 days look like this. Yes, there are rain chances. No, it's not a continuous rain. And yes, the temperatures are going up and down. We are ending April and going into May, and we do that with this kind of rocky road on the roller coaster temperature ride, if you will. Monday's probably the warmest day we'll see out of the next several. Back into the mid, perhaps even upper 80s, depending on how much sunshine we see. Best rain chances will happen Friday and again on Tuesday into Tuesday night and Wednesday.
All right. Thank you, Scott. Here's Frank with sports.
Kelly, the Cardinals can't win on the road. The Blues can't lose at home, at least we hope. And we're playing hit and run with a St. Louis basketball legend. We'll be right back.
And here's a look at the program streaming tonight on 5+. You can watch for free through your Roku, Apple, or Fire TV device.
The Cardinals better be dominating at Busch Stadium because they are not cutting it on the road. 1-6 on this road trip and 2-11 overall. Only the Rockies are worse at home in the National League. Let's go to Atlanta. Alec Burleson's bat is sizzling. He had 3 hits today, but he and the Cardinals could only bring in one of 5 runners in scoring position. Miles Michaelis handed a 1-0 lead to the bullpen and wound up disappointed. John King came in, gave up the bloop single that brought in the tying run in the 7th. And then after JoJo Romero left with 2 on in the 8th, Ryan Fernandez served one up to Eli White, who delivered it 434 feet. Oh, brother. Rays win 4-1. They say the key to a restaurant success is location, location, location. It's also true for a hockey team. You see, if the Blues play at their favorite location, home, they win. They haven't lost at Enterprise since late February, 12 wins in a row. They don't practice at Enterprise, but at Centene, where fans couldn't watch today. This is serious business for Jim Montgomery and the boys. The voice of the Blues had a good take on what needs to happen with a team down 2-0.
And then the one thing we haven't seen yet is the Blues' defense actually play a larger role on the offensive side of things. I think the Blues have had one of the top scoring defensive groupings in the league this year. I think they're top 4 or 5, and we haven't seen their impact yet in this series on that side of things.
The Celtics hosting the Magic in Game 2 without Jason Tatum, who is nursing an injured hand. But Boston has another superstar. His name is Jaylen Brown, and he couldn't miss tonight. Brown erupted for 36 points. Boston is up 2-0 after a 109-100 victory. One of the best high school baseball programs in the area just keeps rolling along. Coach Tony Perkins and Francis Howell beat Howell North 3-2 today to move to 17-1 on the season. In 30 years as head coach of the Vikings, Perkins has seen a ton of talent come through his program, and this year is no different.
How many guys I got D1? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, I got 3 Mizzou guys, Wichita State and SLU, so there's 5 D1 guys right there, which that's not normal. When 3 of them are pitchers too, so that's pretty cool.
We often play hit and run with a sports celebrity. LaFonso Ellis was an All-American at Lincoln High School and at Notre Dame, then an 11-year NBA career. He also was on national TV for a long time. As you will see, he has the gift of gab.
Sets it up for Lichty over Roberts, and there's Ellis who blasts off.
Most unguardable player you ever had to deal with?
Charles Barkley.
The coach in the NBA that you'd like to have dinner with?
He was my coach then, and but still, Pat Riley.
Most embarrassing moment as a basketball player?
Down 1 against the Los Angeles Lakers, Kobe and Shaq at home, having a really good game. Seconds left on the clock, get a rebound. Out in transition, I could see the time elapsing. I was in my mind, I didn't know whether to dunk it or to lay it in, and I decided to finger roll it. It hit the back, the front, rolled off, we lose by 1.
Describe the incredible block shot.
I was just doing my job, Frank.
Are you kidding me?
Alfonso Ellis took it right away from him.
If there were no basketball in this world, you would have done what with your life?
I would have been in some form of finance. I was an accounting major.
2 lines to sum up your basketball career.
Grateful for the opportunity, having been a 5th pick, but saddened by the fact that I never got a chance to maximize my potential because of the number of injuries, 3 career-ending injuries that the Lord allowed me to play 6 more years past.
Final thought. St. Louis, what does it mean to you?
So grateful to all of my teachers, my coaches, my community, my family, for all that they deposited in me. You just don't get an opportunity in this lifetime to show how grateful you are to so many people who have made an indelible, positive impact on my life.
He really is one of the most impressive people I've ever met in sports. Just a great guy.
Wow. All right. Thanks, Frank. Well, coming up, he has covered many Hall of Fame inductions over the years. Tonight, it was Mike Bush's call to the Hall. The St. Louis Shakespeare Festival is gearing up for a wild production. It's partnering with the St. Louis Zoo to host Romeo and Juliet. The family-friendly adaptation of Shakespeare's famous play will use life-size animal puppets and will be held at the zoo's historic hill from July 9th to August 17th. Tickets went on sale today in honor of William Shakespeare's 461st birthday. And we want to congratulate 5 on your side's Mike Bush, who has been officially inducted into the St. Louis Media Hall of Fame. The honor comes from the St. Louis Media History Foundation, which preserves the city's rich media legacy. Tonight's ceremony at Sheldon Concert Hall recognized people who have made a lasting impact in TV, radio, print, and public relations. Mike, go ahead.
Go ahead. And you also went in with former sports director Jay Randolph and the late Mike Shannon and Julius Hunter. But I got to tell you, Mike's speech was so unbelievable. It was emotional. It was humble. It was just beautiful.
And that's no surprise.
Yep.
I'm so happy and proud of him. Congrats, Mike. Thanks so much for joining us. Have a great tomorrow. And be sure to join us for Today in St. Louis beginning at 4 a.m.